Welcome back to another video. I am April Williams, a spiritual and mindset life coach. I am an ambassador for Christ and I am a podcaster. This is kind of a story time video, so y'all forgive me if I'm all over the place because I ain't that good with story time videos. But I could say this is going to be about purpose, calling, gifts, and just my experience with everything. So for somebody who may be wondering, what their purpose is in life, is like, first we have to know that we can't just make up our own purpose. We can't just take our passion. You're passionate, that's one thing, but your purpose, that's different. Only way you're going to know and find out your purpose is if you get with God. Get with God, get close to God, work on bettering your relationship with God. And, just asking God to lead you to your purpose. Asking God, what is your purpose? Asking God to help you become the woman you need to be. Help you become the man you need to be so you can find your purpose. But before we get into that, I want to just say that from personal experience, I can say that you find your purpose when you answer your calling. Like for me, I had the idea to do a podcast, I think like maybe the beginning of 2020. And I can honestly say the things that I talk about now, talking about God and, the Word of God, the things that I talk about on my podcast, when I wanted to start it back in 2020, that's nowhere near what I was going to be talking about or what I wanted to talk about. So I can say that, like I said, you find your purpose when you answer your calling. Back then, I wanted to do a podcast. I put it off for a while. Wasn't thinking about it. Wasn't worried about it. I was pursuing a whole nother career. Like, seriously, I was pursuing a whole nother career. I was trying to get into PI work. I had got my private investigator license and everything, trying to get into that. So when God put it back on my mind, by this time, God had really started to move in my life, and he was just doing what he was doing. He was molding me and shaping me behind the scenes. Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew that the different things that I was dealing with and battling with, but God knew. It was just me and God in that secret place. So I can say that's another thing too. Like, you have to realize that isolation, like transformation requires isolation. In order for God to mold you and shape you and make you into who you're meant to be, so he can really use you for his glory, it requires isolation. So I went to the point where I just had to isolate myself from everything and everybody. Like, other than my family, like, I had isolated myself from everybody. I had stopped doing the things that I used to do, stopped going out, stopped drinking. I had to stop everything because those things weren't fun anymore. It's like, okay, this is who I used to be, but God is really doing something new. He's doing a new thing in my life. So I can't do the things that I used to do because they don't even feel right. So like I say, when God started to put it back on my mind about starting a podcast, okay, by that time, God had really started moving in my life. I started reading the Bible, stuff like that. I got off of social media. I got off of Facebook for like 3 months. So I could really say that was a social media fast. Because fasting is just sacrificing anything, giving up anything and just focusing on God, bettering your relationship with God and allowing God to just really do what he's going to do with you, really mold you and shape you. Fasting is about more than losing weight. So let me stay on topic, y'all. Let me stay on topic. So, okay, like I say, rewind back to like 2020, beginning of 2020, middle of 2020, when I had the idea to do the podcast. The idea went away because I started pursuing other things. And last year around, I could say July, maybe June, July, when God started to really move in my life, that's when he gave me my podcast idea again. And this time when he gave it to me, by this time I had to start reading the word and everything like that. So I knew it was going to be different, but I had no idea that it was going to be how it actually is. I can honestly say that I had nothing to do with this. Like, this is all God using me. I give God the glory for everything he's doing in my life, because this is not me. This is not me. This is nothing but the power of God. So when he gave it to me, it's like he was calling me to start my podcast. So it's like, okay, I said yes. I was obedient to the call. And in doing so, God led me to YouTube. That's how I found my life coach. That's how I got into life coaching. That's how I knew that it was, my purpose to come into life coaching and things like that, and to really help others. So that was for me being obedient It's about us being obedient. Whatever God is calling you to do right now in your life, being obedient to that call is what's going to lead to your purpose. You know, you may not understand it. You may not like it. You may not want to do it. But being obedient to whatever God is calling you to right now is what's going to lead to your purpose. Because like I say, I can say that from experience. First, God called me to start a podcast. I started my podcast. I kept doing it, kept being consistent. I started it in, August of 2021. So now I'm like 21 episodes in, still being obedient, still doing what God tell me to do. In the process of all that, a few months ago, God led me to YouTube and I found my life coach. Now, you know, we as people, we know when something sit right with our spirit and when it's don't. We know when we watch somebody, whether they resonate with us or whether they don't. If it does, you keep watching. If it don't, stop watching it because it ain't meant for you to be watching. So God led me to her YouTube channel and I found her. And I just was watching her for like months and never thought about life coaching. It never dawned on me. I just kept watching it because I'm like, this woman really resonates with my spirit. So I just kept watching her. And then, like I say, some more months went by. I'm steady doing my podcast episodes. God is steady working in my life, steady molding me and shaping me and making me. And, you know, he's still doing it to this day, you know, because that never stops. We can always get better. That's an ongoing process. We're never arrived. So, like I said, I kept watching her for months, and then it just started to kind of like the Lord started to really reveal to me, like, that's what your purpose is. It's meant for you to do that. That's what it's meant for you to be doing. So that's how I became a life coach and came into life coaching. So, like I said, it all started and began with me being obedient to what God was calling me to. He called me to start my podcast. I was obedient. I said yes to Jesus. I, kept being obedient, kept reading the word, kept spending time with God, put God first in my life, and kept God first in my life. And I'm still, still on a consistent flow, because that's what it's about. It's about us being consistent in whatever we're doing. So, like I say, it was all about being obedient. Me saying yes, doing what God told me to do, starting my podcast. Keep going. Then I got into YouTube, found my life coach, watched her for months. I'm steady doing my podcast, steady being obedient, steady doing what God telling me to do throughout that whole process. And then after a while, like I say, I'm like, okay, it's meant for me to be a life coach. And I could say from confirmation that I really knew that this is what I'm meant to be doing, because at one point her course, now she's my life coach. Y'all can look her up, Latoya Key on YouTube. She's a very successful woman. She's a very successful black woman, very powerful, definitely a woman of God. And at the time, I think her course was like $600 or something like that. And I wasn't going to get it right then. I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait. I ain't gonna worry about this right now. So as time went on, she ended up having a Black Friday sale. Now her course went from that to $200. And I had just prayed about it and told God, and like, okay, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, I'm going to do it. But I'm just going to hold off on it for a little while. And then like right after that, she literally had a Black Friday sale where her course went from one price to just flat out $200. And I was just like, wow. Like, I just knew that was my confirmation, and that was just God telling me, this is what I want you to do. I don't want you to wait. I want you to do it right now. Take advantage of this opportunity right now. So that's how it happened. That's how I said yes. I answered my call. I was obedient. I'm still being obedient. And that's how God revealed to me what my purpose is. Like I say, we can't just wake up one day and say we're going to find our own purpose. The only way you're going to find your purpose is through God. It's from God, because God created us. Your purpose is why you are here. It's why you were created. We all have a purpose. We're all meant to be doing something. We were all put here to do something. So like I say, that's the only way you're going to find your purpose. And like I said in one of my last videos, Dr. Miles Monroe, he said that, like, the greatest tragedy in life is not death. It's not dying. It's a man without purpose. It's somebody who, they don't know their purpose. You're just out here. You're just prone to whatever, whichever way the wind blow, whatever comes your way, whoever comes your way. It's like you're kind of just prone to just fall for anything, because you don't know your purpose. You don't know why you're here. You're just playing it by ear. And like I say, that was me for a long time. It's like I've always been goal driven, but it's like my mind I kind of just drift off to different things because it's like I just was searching for what's right. You know, it took me a long time to just figure out my purpose. Like I said, I was just trying to find what's right, find something that fits me, really just something that I was passionate about, you know. And then in the process of doing all that, God really just told me, like, no, none of this is what you meant to be doing. This is what you meant to be doing. And like I say, once I said yes to Jesus Christ and got my life back on track and got back, you know, on the right path, doing the right things and just staying focused, it's like it just been a blessing. You know, it all came from saying yes and answering the call. So like I say, whatever the call, whatever God is calling you to do right now in your life, whatever season you're in your life, whatever God is calling you to do right now, you may not understand it, you may not like it, you may not want to do it, you may have never done it, but being obedient to whatever God is calling you to do is what's going to lead to your purpose. That's how God is going to reveal to you what your purpose is. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope I wasn't too much all over the place because I ain't good at story time. I don't even know what I'm going to call this video. I might call it What is My Purpose or something. So this is definitely a story time video. So if anybody have any questions, feel free to message me, comment. You know, you can send me an email, aprilwilliams954yahoo.com. I am a life coach, spiritual and mindset life coach. So y'all be blessed. Stay focused. Have a great week. And I'll see y'all on the next video.